our first one here is vertical angles. Nick, what are our pairs of vertical angles?
1 and 6.
1 and 6. Okay.
5 and 2.
5 and 2. Okay.
3 and 8.
3 and 8.
7 and 4.
7 and 4. Thank you. Okay, next up. Okay. Okay, Kayla.
Okay, it's 4 of them, right?
There's 4 of them, yes.
So, angle 1 and angle 3.
Angle 1 and 3.
Okay. Angle 2 and angle 4.
Angle 2 and angle 4.
Angle 5 and angle 7.
Yep. And then?
And angle 6 and angle 8.
Nice job. Okay, who was alternate interior? Yep.
Okay. Angle 6 and angle 30.
Angle 6 and angle 3.
And angle 2 and angle 7.
Angle 2 and angle 7. Okay, alternate exterior. Yep, Jamal? Angle 1 and angle 8. Angle 5 and angle 4. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, same side interior. Who had that one?
Yeah.
Chandler?
Angle 2 and angle 3. Angle
Okay.
6 and angle 7.
Okay. And last but not least, linear pairs.
Angle 1 and angle 2.
Angle 1 and angle 2.
Angle 3 and angle 4.
Angle 3 and angle 4.
5 and 6.
Angle 5 and angle 6.
And 7 and 8.
And 7 and 8. And then there are 4 more.
1 and 5.
1 and 5.
2 and 6.
2 and 6.
3 and 7.
3 and 7.
And 4 and 8.
And 4 and 8. Thank you, guys. This section is 3.5. Showing lines are parallel. And we are to be able to show that 2 lines are parallel. A converse, the statement formed by switching the hypothesis of and the conclusion of an if-then statement. Which part is the hypothesis? Of a normal if-then statement, which part is the hypothesis? Austin? It's the first part, right? The part with the if. And then the conclusion is the part with the then. So you're switching the part with the then, moving it to the part with the if, the part with the if, you're moving it to the part with the then. Okay, postulate. Corresponding angles converse. So if 2 lines are cut by a transversal so that corresponding angles are congruent, then the lines are parallel. Notice that this looks like the corresponding angles theorem, but the first part that had the if has now moved to the then part, and then the then part moved to the if. It's the same one over there, but now it's rewritten in the reverse order. Okay, our next 2. So our next one is the alternate interior angles converse. If 2 lines are cut by a transversal so that the interior angles are congruent, then the lines are parallel. And the alternate exterior angles converse. If 2 angles are cut by a or 2 lines are cut by a transversal so that alternate exterior angles are congruent, then the lines are parallel. So in the theorems, it says if 2 parallel lines are cut by a transversal, then, and it tells you the rest of it. These are the converse because that comes second. The fact that they're parallel comes second. Same side interior angles converse. If 2 lines are cut by a transversal so that same side interior angles are supplementary, then the lines are parallel. If line AB divides segment CD into 2 congruent segments, then line AB is the bisector of the segment CD. Write the converse of the true statement above. So if we write the converse, what does that mean? Okay, give me 1 second. Line AB is a bisector of segment CD. Then
line AB divides segment CD into 2 congruent segments.
very good job. So you see what she did there, which took the if part, and she made that the then part, and then she took the then part, and that became our if part. So that became this part, and then the other one went to this part right here. So we're going to decide if this converse is true. If line AB is a bisector of segment CD, then the line AB divides CD into two congruent segments. Is that true? Does a bisector divide something into two congruent segments?
Yes.
Yes, it does. So we know that this is the truth. So what we had there was a true statement.
How is it true again?
So we know it's true because of the definition. That if a line AB is the bisector of a segment, then it divides into two congruent parts. Well, to bisect something means that you're cutting it into two congruent parts. So we're using the definition of a bisector there. Is there enough information to conclude that JK is parallel to NP?
Yes.
So how do you know that that is a yes?
Because they parallel.
So how do you know they're parallel? There's no lines on your arrows telling us that they're parallel.
Because they're the same angle.
So which angles are the same?
95 degrees.
The 95 degrees. What is this?
Congruent. They're congruent.
So they're congruent, but they're not alternate. They're not alternate exterior because this. Okay, I got a lot of responses. So they are corresponding. By the corresponding angle, what is it? Corresponding angle converse. We see that our corresponding angles are congruent. Congruent, therefore, by corresponding angle postulate, corresponding angle converse.
We got it right already.
Yep.
Corresponding angles are congruent by corresponding angles.
By corresponding angle converse. The lines are parallel. So, can we say that these two lines are parallel? What type of angles do we currently have? Yeah, what's the relationship between these two angles? Somebody else can help her out.
Same side.
So they're same side interior. And we know that same side interior angles are what, Jamal? What are same side interior angles? They are? They're linear pairs. Well, not necessarily linear pairs, but they have the same factors that, right? They are, starts with an S? Not congruent. Okay, so let's pause. I'm going to